So let's go into one level deeper, joins. So with some joins now, we can get, for example, select star. This star means everything, right? From order details. We can see there's all the order details. Note that I'm just getting the first 5 elements or first 5 records. I can also select all from products, right? You can see here. And let's say I want to join this now, right? I want to say, okay, like, well, I have order details, I have products. From the order details, I really want to put in, instead of just a product code, I really want to know what was the product, right? So we want to combine these together, right? I could technically just go from here and say, okay, let me go ahead and find this guy and then search for this specific number in here. And you can imagine, for example, if I do, let's just dot, no, let's dot. Oops. You go. You can see here it's 110 entries, right? Which is actually relatively small, but you can imagine trying to find one product code, right? And then matching it up, it'd just be a huge pain. So what we can do with SQL, going back so we can read this later, we can actually combine this with joins, right? So a simple one you can do here is select star, so select everything. So remember, just whatever the results are, just gonna give me everything. And I'm gonna take order details, which was this original guy right up here, and then join products. So to join products, what we're gonna do here is we're actually going to say, hey, join this on order details.product, products.product code. And what this means is saying that this product code is the column that we're looking for. And when the value matches this value, include that whole row. Okay, does that make sense to people? Okay, so basically you're including all the results from order details and all the results from product details where those two product code column names match up. Okay, so when I do this now, you'll see basically I'm still doing only the first 5 elements, but you'll see here is that my data frame now is a lot wider. So you see order number, product code, and then I scroll up to the side here, and you can see here all the other stuff too, right? And you can see product code is actually repeated twice. Why is product code repeated twice? It does match though, right? You can see that.
It's in both tables.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, perfect. You guys got it right. Two answers for at the same time for 2 copies, right?
So yeah, that was not coordinated. Yeah, that was supposed to be. Yeah.
That's right. It's because of the internet. I think you guys were actually like, you know, coordinated. Good planning, guys. But anyway, product code basically is appearing in both tables, right? So note that technically, if they're the same name, you can actually have this run, right? But you also notice this, if you kind of saw that, that seemed to take a little bit longer, right? 2 seconds. If I run this like without this part. So note that it still joined it, right? With that product code. Actually, it didn't connect this on here. And the reason why is because it was looking for what's the thing that's similar to it. And this is where if you're not explicit, sometimes it can actually pick up something else that's not the same. So one alternative to this is like, okay, I don't want to type this whole on part. I think the curriculum kind of shows you. You could use like using. Have you guys seen this, right? Yeah. So product code. And this should work. There you go. And you can see that basically says, oh, it's just looking for the product code and it just knows that those are the same ones, so it's going to join them. I personally do not like using because even though it saves you some time, it's a little less like explicit. And again, you'll see me when I code, I love being explicit as possible to make it easier for me to read. And honestly, this isn't taking me that much more work. Also, I can very quickly, for example, if the product code, maybe it's product code in the database, like I can very quickly look at that versus like, oh, it should be connected. Why isn't it working? And, you know, have you guys ever done this where you read this and you read this and in your mind, you just automatically change it. Like you don't even realize they're different. This is where like debugging can be really helpful. So anyway, I will always say it's just using this on part. Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Also,
yeah.
Is this default join an outer join?
It's the default, if you use an on like this, is actually going to be an inner join. So
it's
going to connect
both, right? Okay, yeah.
That's right. So technically, you would like inner join. This should run the same thing. So you can see here. So by default, if I take out this inner join here, if you don't have this, like you saw here, this is actually doing probably a full outer join by default because there's no conditions on top of it. That's why you probably saw it go for 2 seconds and you saw that the product code didn't connect. So this is why it's always important to have this on or in some cases using. Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. Cool. All right, so let's go here. All right, what if we wanted specific columns from a row? We can add some new. We can also make it easier to read. So you can see here, I have a little bit of example code here. So you can see these are little comments in here. Oh, fun part, this is all markdown. You can just put like this is normally like just code, right? So it's indented all nice. If you put in the type of code it is, it'll actually try to make it nice and easy to read. So something to kind of know about for Markdown. But anyway, we can see how our different aliases and stuff like this. Note that if you try like this, for example, as order, if I didn't do this, so I'm just kind of quickly showing you, if I just did it like this, this technically looks like it's good, but you'll notice it's in green. Does anyone know why this is in green here?
Fine word.
It's a defined word, yeah. So note that if you want something, you might have to put in quotation marks. Some SQL servers require you to use backticks. So note that sometimes that might be true too. So just kind of be aware of this if your table or if the thing that you're looking for uses a keyword. For example, like uses the word select for whatever reason, or the word order. Okay, cool. So we can run this guy and you can see I'm doing a join. For example, I can do the order details and then just join on product code just like before. And we can see nice, pretty amazingness, right? So it's really easy for us to go through here. We can also go through more joins and stuff like this. I do have another notebook that kind of talks more and more about joins. I just kind of go through parts of this. Maybe we can talk about in the future and stuff like this, or you guys can go through it. But know that a big thing, basically, the two joins that you'll probably, the only two joins you'll probably ever use or need are just join, which is an inner join, and left join. That's kind of it. You can technically do things like right join, but guess what a right join is? A right join is a left join, but just swapped. So I don't know. I always use left joins. I think sometimes you can reason say, oh, it's just easier because I don't have to type as much. But I'm like, yeah, I just use left joins just because it makes my life easier and I don't mess up as frequently. That's just my thing. Know that a left join basically will do the same thing as an inner join, but will include everything from that first table. So if I do, for example, like a left join like this, actually, let me just do, let me do this real quick. Info. So note that there's about almost 3,000 entries, 2,996. If I do left join, I believe this should include one extra entry. Oh no, I got it backwards. Let's see here. I think this is maybe I'm wrong. It might just be there's enough. What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to break it as quick as I can. There we go. Ah, look, there's an extra entry. Look at that. And that's because there's actually, it's doing a left join. There's actually one product that was never bought. So note that if we do just a regular join, which is going to be inner join, right? That will actually keep out the part because basically one of the products was never bought, so there's no order details. But if we do this guy, and I actually don't know which one it is, with a left join, sorry, you actually are keeping one of these parts in there. And let's see here if I can do this real quick then. Yeah. Let's do df combo. Is it the very beginning or the end? Well, anyway, I have to find it specifically, but if I found it like, sorry, I'm trying to go on top of my head. Oops. I know you're in there. I know you are. So you can see here, I'm basically trying to say, okay, let me get the one that where the order is null, right? Because there's going to be one order that basically had no details in there. So, because we're starting left join, yeah. And then just using the mask. Aha, there you are. Okay. Order number, well, the ID index here is 1,122. I wasn't going to find that. So you can see here, the order is none. So it still include this on since it was a left join, but just everything that would be here is actually a null value. So if I actually wrote this in SQL, this would be like null, 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 null. But it still has a product. So no one bought this product code S183233. Basically, left join allows you to keep these things. If I instead took this part out, right? So now I will have 2,996. Basically, none of those values should be null, right? And you can see, sure enough, it's an empty data frame. Cool. Any questions on that? Does that make sense to people? Okay, so these are kind of little things that you should like note about, like if you want to include products, like for example, that don't get included or like that have not been bought, you might want to do like a left join instead of just an inner join. So those are really easy things you can do by accident by not realizing it. Okay. Sound cool? Any questions at all? Anything I showed? Okay. So, all right, so I have a little bit more detail on using SQL itself. I do have some exercises. Maybe I'll kind of give this out to you guys to kind of play around with. Just kind of give you what the exercises look like. Again, this is all on the online. They're basically just little practice stuff that you can have. So just some more practice, and as well included the query solution. So like if you get really stuck, you can definitely check this out. Okay.